Good evening.
Why do I have so many
It is,
different? Got it.
we're ready, Jasmine?
Yeah.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the City of New Carrollton Council Workshop Meeting for Monday, June the 8th. We're going to start with resident concerns. I have one resident in the audience. Do I have any hands up online, Mike?
Nope.
Ms. Cynthia, you interested in addressing us?
No,
Not
I'm good.
right now,
Right now.
okay. Then we'll go to council announcements. And we're all here. Brianna's just on virtual. Brianna, why don't you start with the announcements, please?
I actually don't have any announcements this evening. Just go Knicks.
That's a good place to start. Agnelli, you may have some, right?
I have none.
All right. Lincoln?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What I will start with is, and most people already are aware of it, but just in case they aren't, the New Carrollton Public Library is closed from June 4th to June 15th. They are doing some construction on the school next door, so that area is closed down. Again, it will be closed from June 4th through June 15th. Please do not go to the library at that time. And the other thing that I have, Mr. Chair, is the New Carrollton Police Department, and I said it before, but I'm going to reemphasize it again tonight, is having their skate night at the Vericope Lineback Park on Friday, June 12th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 6248 Westwood Drive, right here in the city of New Carrollton. Again, Friday, June 12th, please set your calendar, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for skate night at the Vericope Lineback Park, sponsored by the New Carrollton Police Department. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Mills?
Nothing here.
Nothing here. Well, I have to add to the library announcement because I get a lot of books at the library. And they called me and they said, if you want to get your books that you're ordered, you have to come to Bladensburg. So I called Bladensburg and they said, oh, this is the New Carrollton Librarian. I'm working in Bladensburg while it's closed. And we're not sure when it will be open, so don't rely on that date. But, well, that's what she said. Then she said, but you can come to Bladensburg and get the books. I see you have some down here that were checked out. You can pick them up here, or if you'd like me to, we can change the library address. So if you use the library a lot like I do, you could change it to Greenbelt or Hyattsville, but they defaulted to Bladensburg. So, and I have some books that are due, and she says, yeah, you got to take them to Bladensburg because even the book drop-off will not be functional during the time it's closed. And she said the 4th to the 15th is an estimate. They weren't sure. So that's the library announcement. The second announcement I have, somebody.
Skate night has been, postponed.
Oh.
Just put it in the chat.
So there goes Lincoln's announcement.
Okay, I didn't know. Sorry, Chief. What is the new date?
We'll get that to you.
Okay, my apologies. I didn't know it was changed.
And the second announcement is an old announcement that's worth repeating because the residents who are sitting in the audience asked me about it, and we should mention it once in a while, that if you're in Prince George's County, the Chesapeake Bay Foundation will pay up to $6,000 to replace your driveway if you're willing to do it with a permeable surface. So you can,
Mr.
provide
Chair?
a link. I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, that grant is no longer available.
Oh, it's online. It's still there.
Yes, sure is.
It's still there. We have people looking into it. So
Okay, well, I've
We-
spoken to the
I-
Secretary for the Environment and they said it was no longer available.
oh, well, they didn't take it offline.
Right. I just
Yeah.
Friday and filled out the application, so I don't know where she got.
Okay,
that.
well, thanks for that update if that's true, but it's still online. And I've been thinking of doing that myself, but if I find out it's not there, we won't be doing that. That was the only other announcement that I have. The BRC status. Let me start by saying we have a packet in front of us that was not in the original packet. That is a printout of all the handouts from today's meeting. And I didn't mean to be overly cautious. Brianna and Agnelli. Agnelli said I'm not supposed to speak. I did not want to violate the Open Meetings Act. I did not want us deliberating in a 3-person meeting, but you could have asked questions. That would have been okay. And you were allowed to introduce yourself. But I was overly cautious. And I also saw that they were budgeting a 1-hour meeting. We got out of there about in an hour. So we kept with their schedule. But anyway, those two attended, Brianna and Agnelli. So before I would jump into the status, I might let them share with you the highlights of what they heard. Do you want to start, Agnelli?
It was very informative, but the one big flag for me, because I'm really invested in it. When they talked about the audit of salaries, wages and salary increases, they only referred to 3 years, not 5, like the RFP says. Had you noticed that?
I did.
Can you notice?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I did.
So some feedback to them because the RFP asked for 5 years, so kind of
And we sent them 5 years of information, so.
some kind of wasted effort to start the audit, and now they need to redo some parts of it. That was my general take, and it was very informative.
Okay. Brianna, what did you take away?
I was really impressed, and I actually felt very validated in my choice in selecting them as a firm. The way that they spoke, the thoughtfulness about selecting comparators that I thought were appropriate. Vienna, Virginia, Hyattsville, Mount Rainier, and then other localities, one in Georgia, one in Ohio, that are a similar population. I thought that was thoughtful. It was interesting to see. I mean, some of the focus today on today's numbers were on the police department, which is the part of the government that I was actually least concerned with, given the CBA. I'm really more interested in the administration positions and salaries. So I'm not as concerned about the lack of historical practice, because many of these positions didn't exist 5 years ago. So we're not going to get much out of examining that history. I think how we got here, for me, is less important than where we are going. And I know that most often you need to know how someone got to somewhere in order to get to the destination that I think we all agree upon. But given the frequency of turnover, the fact that we've had a new mayor every election since Hanko, I'm not as concerned about the historical information. And in general, I just thought they were very comprehensive, and I'm looking forward to the final report.
Oh, I have it here.
Okay. Now, Lincoln and Cynthia, you weren't able to attend, but do you want to add any thoughts on what you've seen in the charts that were distributed? Okay. How about you, Lincoln? You
I actually haven't had a chance to look at it yet myself, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
I haven't read it mine.
Well, I want to I sort of echo what Brianna said. I was impressed with some things, but with other things, I have to look again at what they promised us in the timetable. I think they're a little bit behind. And I think we have a contract oversight manager who would be Quentin, right? He should be watching that. And I was a little disappointed when I asked the question, and I did ask some questions about would they consider benefits? And I think the answer they told me is they're just looking at salaries. And yet I know I saw in one of the sections of their contract, they said we're looking at salaries and benefits. So I don't know what they're going to do with benefits. That needs to be followed up on, I think. But otherwise, I agree with what Brianna said. They did a thorough analysis. The 5 cities that they chose were based on population. You could raise the question, is population the only appropriate measurement? Because as it's pointed out to us often, we talk to Berwyn Heights, well, they don't have any apartments. And New Carrollton has a lot of apartments. And it's a huge difference, the population aside. So you try to compare apple with apple, and I'm hoping they're doing a good job. I don't know Vienna that well. I do know Riverdale Park. I think that's a good comparison. And I go through Mount Rainier regularly, so.
It wasn't Riverdale Park, Mr. Chair. It was Riverdale, Georgia.
It was Riverdale, Georgia and Riverdale Park, I
It's
believe.
both,
Both, yeah.
because I had to reach out to Riverdale Park because they hadn't gotten the information from them. And so I had to reach out to the city manager and clerk a couple times, and they got the information from them on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I
that's
didn't see
not-
that in the PowerPoint. It only said Riverdale, Georgia, that other city in Ohio, Vienna, and Mount Rainier and Hyattsville. I didn't see Riverdale Park, but I think they're an excellent comparator for us because they're similar in population, not just numbers, but population in terms of diversity of income.
Mhm. Well, Harold mentioned Riverdale Park, so I think that's one of them that's in there. And
It's in the PowerPoint for the DMV
I
region,
saw it in there.
Brianna, Riverdale Park, Maryland. Data received
Okay.
4th and will be incorporated into the study.
I apologize.
And for Lincoln and Cynthia, who haven't read through it, they mentioned a 67% response rate. And I raised the question, would it be beneficial for them to use some of their money we allowed for them to travel to come and do some in-person interviews or consulting if they needed to? And their response was that might, the lack of anonymity might hinder getting answers. They do it virtually and they're interacting online. But anyway, 67% they thought was a pretty good response rate, and that's 67% of the employees here in New Carrollton.
Correct.
So they ask all the employees, what do you think of all these things? And 67%, just over 2/3 responded, and they were pleased with that, and they're using that data. So we'll have more updates on that. They also mentioned several times in that meeting about, we know you folks are working on a budget, and we want to give you information that you can use for your budget. So they're still chugging away, but as we know, we'll get to it tonight, we have a resolution for a continuing resolution so that we can give them more time and that we can take time to review the work that's been done on fines and fees. With that, I think that sums it up. Constant Contact, that's back on there. I wasn't even sure it would be. Maisha, there were two things I remember that were open. You were going to find out from me. Are we really limited to the number that we do per week?
No, we're not limited to.
There's no limit.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And the second thing was, how do we deal with the fees? If we set up a second entire separate, Constant Contact, is there?
If we do so, I'm gonna be honest, Chair. I
Okay.
haven't had time to do all this research.
Okay, I'm calling you by your first name. That's all right. You don't need,
Oh, you're fine. I need to get with Yvette on, but you do know if we create a second one, we can't pull in the names from the one to the other.
right, we have to do an invitation to have people sign up for the second one. It would be a presentation to the community that the council would like to communicate with you separately from the routine announcements on Constant Contact. Would you like to participate in the second Constant Contact? And they would have to sign up with all the caveats. So this is,
Why can't we duplicate the database?
That was what their legal department said. If we set up a whole new account, you can't. So when a person signs up, they would have signed up for the account that they're on. And so if a person decides they want to unsubscribe, if you have now copied them into a new instance, it's not, they can't, they would unsubscribe to one, but they would be wanting to unsubscribe to something they didn't even sign up for. They didn't sign up for the second account.
Okay, maybe we're overthinking this, because what I thought was that it would be Constant Contact format, and the header would say letter from the council or something from the council, but it would be Constant Contact format. Just the content on that particular edition would only be the council report.
So you're saying, him, Dwayne, put something in the regular block, in the regular constant contact.
Template.
Oh, she said just add another block on a page, on the one we already had.
And that, well, that's what I thought we were originally doing, that Mr. Rosenberg was going to write something and send it to Yvette. Yvette would just add it to, just like now, when Ms. Agnelli sends us something about the council meeting, the town hall meetings, or anyone else sends us information, they send it to us, Yvette makes sure there's no grammatical, and then she posts it and adds it to Constant Contact. So I thought that's what we were doing, but then there's conversations about having a second instance of Constant Contact.
You didn't want a second one, did you?
I don't want a second one. I was curious what the fees were in case anybody else is interested in that, but no, I think, no.
Yes, I just thought that Mr. Rosenberg was gonna draft something, send it to Yvette, and she would add it to the weekly ones, send out a second one, whatever we were doing.
So the conversation I had with Dwayne was about removing Yvette from that flow. But he's using the format and the framework for Constant Contact, not creating something new.
Why would you remove her from it?
Not happening. Brianna has her hand up for anybody that.
I'm sorry.
Hey, it's all right, Brianna.
We'll get to Brianna, but I know you done with your comment?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm
Okay.
not volunteering to do it. It's-
All right, Brianna has her hand up, right?
Yes. So I am voicing real concern over, this is city data that I don't think belongs in the hand of any elected official. It's the city. People signed up to get information from the city. We are the city because we are the city council. We are the city council from 2025 to 2027. And we have every right, just as any other part of the city, to publish on the city's newsletter. But I don't believe that the data, the emails and names that people give to the city to get information from the city should be shared with a single elected official, mayor included. I think that that the communications director should be responsible for all of the publishing that goes out. And should this city council want to have its own independent newsletter that's separate, that's something that I, wouldn't, I don't not support that, but the city already has these emails and names, and we would just, Dwayne would write it as the chair, and then she would publish it. If there was an instance in which Dwayne was censored or something like that, then maybe we should be having additional discussions. But I don't think that that's going to happen. Like her job is to publish what she is told to publish, and we would be telling her to publish this. And I think this is not what council meetings are supposed to be about. We're a legislative body, not an administrative one. And the administration has a person on staff whose job it is to publish information. I don't think that those names and emails should be in the hands of a single elected official, because, all of us might not be on council next time. The mayor may not be the mayor next time, but the city has the right to publish information to the residents.
Well, I'm going with you. I agree with you. We're just gonna put a little blurb inside of the one that's already gone, not make a second one.
Yeah. Or if a different day, for instance, we have a council meeting, people have questions, Mr. Rosenberg writes his responses to those questions and publishes it the day after the meeting and say, guess what you missed at last night's meeting? Someone asked this really important question. Here's our answer. Like that, it doesn't have to come out on Fridays like every other Constant Contact, but it could come out on Fridays. I just think that the city should be the one that's in charge of warehousing the data for security purposes. It should live within the city, not within any elected person's computer.
We have had problems in the past.
It's just an email. It's not the document that goes
Exactly.
up. It's just an email.
But that's what I'm talking about. Why can't we just put it all into one?
I agree. It needs to go out after the meeting, weekly meeting. By the time the
How's it
newsletter,
gonna go out?
we bet.
Right, so
That'll be
tonight
two
is a
constant-
Wednesday,
so that'll be two constant.
and then Mr. Rosenberg write up whatever y'all want written up, and then Yvette would send that out on Thursday, Friday,
It's not
however,
already answered in the meeting.
Yeah. or once a week, whatever.
Or
Or
whenever.
at the pace that the chair feels appropriate. But if the chair wants to send a newsletter out every single day, he should be able to do that by sending it to the communications director, and she publishes it. If he wants to send it once a month, I think it's the chair's prerogative to determine what is published. I think it's the communications director's job to publish it.
And how much is that gonna cost?
Nothing.
Nothing for her to include it in our current Constant Contact. There's nothing addition.
Okay.
And just so everyone knows, Yvette manages that whole Constant Contact. None of us get involved. The mayor, myself.
Access.
Yeah, I mean, the only time Yvette says, hey, do we need to add this to the Constant Contact? But most of the time, I'm running around. I see it when everyone else sees it when I check my email.
Lincoln, you have any comments to make on this at all? I
It
think I know
seems
where you
like-
stand, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's been discussed ad nauseum,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, but I will just add that, the reason why I was in favor of you handling it is because it was a good way for you to respond to residents when they had questions in real time.
Okay.
That's all I'll add to it.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I'll communicate with Yvette, and I think we took this further than needed to. The only reason it was back on here because there were a couple of open questions. Were there fees with new account? Yes, and then we set up on all that stuff. We know those answers, so we'll work with Yvette. Now, the fiscal year 27 council calendar. Now, Brianna sent me a note today that she's going to be doing some international travel, and congratulations, but she won't be around for our July meetings. And prior years, the council has decided to take a summer type schedule where we meet not 3 times a month, but maybe twice a month. Cynthia's in favor of that, so I'll go last. Lincoln, what do you think about a summer schedule?
I like the summer schedule. We've met twice in July, twice in August in years past, and twice in December.
Okay,
That's not the summer, but those were the months where we
Okay.
met twice. So I'm in favor of us adopting that same schedule. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
that's 2 July, 2 August, 2 December. Agnelli?
I think once we get the BRC reports, we're going to need to meet and discuss. And if they come something in July or August and we're meeting less than normal, it's gonna delay the work on making decisions. But I don't have big plans for this summer.
Okay, I know where Cynthia stands, I know where Lincoln stands. I would prefer doing two, but remember, as chair, I've called, did I ask Brianna? I'm sorry, ask Brianna.
Yeah, I'm open either way. I agree with Agnelli that if there's work to be done, we should meet to do it. Now, I say that with the caveat that I will be missing 2 out of the 3 meetings in July because I will be completely unable to access the internet. But if there's work to be done, I don't want us to fail to get things done. I just won't be a part of it in July. But you know, we've had almost 7 meetings a month for the last 3 months, and that's a lot. And so a summer schedule sounds really nice.
We have had extra meetings, you're right, and that's what I was gonna say, that if I, as chair, learn about things that need the council's attention, I call special meetings and I try to coordinate with all of you, and you all have been cooperative. So I would, work for the 2, give you a little time off too, Maisha. 2 in, July, 2 in August. We won't worry about December right now. You can make it 2, but
No.
the, July and August, we have to be here the 3rd Wednesday according to the charter if we can, right? That's still the, so that's one of them. And then the 1st Wednesday, is that good? First
That's how
and
I
3rd
we used to
Wednesday.
do it was
Okay,
the
first and third Wednesday is
Wednesday.
the July off. Okay, that takes care of that. All in agreement, and Maisha,
So
with-
you repeated the 3rd Wednesday and
The first and third Wednesdays.
So I'll make that first meeting in July. I just won't be at the second one,
that's okay. Then you
or
only
the
have
third one, I should say.
And, Maisha, with your many hats, it's another when you put that calendar together for us. Now, the continuing resolution, I'm sorry, Lincoln.
I'm sorry, just, do we have to vote on this on Wednesday?
I don't think we have to vote on the calendar.
Oh, okay, all right.
If you want to, I mean, if we agree, we can just,
I had
Me-
already added it, part of, hopefully it was gonna move to, the, what is it, the, non-consent agenda.
we can put it
Is that-
on.
That means you're striking it, Mr. Chair?
I would strike it, but if it's in the non.
But I mean, if it's,
You have to
I
vote
just
on
threw everything, because I knew Wednesday is gonna be here before we know it. So as I built this, I was trying to
For
build
the
2
record, you
agendas.
gotta vote on it.
If
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I think it's part of the budget that has to be voted on,
You
right?
have to be voted on.
So it's already on the agenda for Wednesday?
So leave it on there. You can put it in consent.
Consent agenda, yeah.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
The continuing resolution. And the gist of this is that we are taking the numbers from July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, and we're using those numbers for, you okay, Agnelli? Is my mic not working?
kind of got lost, but I'm catching.
Okay, we're using those numbers for 3 months. And the justification is that we have a compensation study that's still in process. We need to see more. And we've done a lot of work, at least Agnelli has, and we've discussed it some on fines and fees. And that's part of the budget process. So we'd like to leave that open and vote on that within the next 3 months. So I'll go around for your comments on that. Brianna, are you okay with the continuing resolution?
Yes.
Okay. Agnelli, are you okay with the continuing resolution?
Absolutely.
Lincoln, any comments?
No comments. I'm okay with it.
Cynthia?
No comment.
Okay, then that's on. I got 20 minutes in here and that we just saved 18.
All
Put
right.
that on the, put that on the Wednesday agenda for consent. That's consent. Budget Amendment 12, Ordinance 2516, fiscal year budget 26. That was amended, right?
It was up, yes, it was updated, and I sent, there should be a.
There's a new one here.
Yep, it's a new one sitting on your table. And Brianna should have been in the mailbox for you also.
Yes, I did get it.
And the big difference was that the money is coming out of employee services as opposed to prior year's reserves. Okay, and Agnelli, thank you for studying that closely and presenting the questions to Maisha, filling in the blanks. And Maisha, thank you for getting back to her promptly.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, 2 follow-up questions. Can you elaborate on the landfill fees that suddenly we got 84,000 more?
Well, we have 2 more bills to pay this year. And so, Leroy, the Assistant Director over Public Works said, Maisha, we got a couple more bills to pay for tipping fees, and this is what we average. So we need some more money. And so it was just Leroy, looking at the numbers and getting back to me, saying we needed some more money to get us through the
So
rest
did
of
we
this year.
have more volume than before, or fees just went up?
Fees went up. I know the fees did go up July 1 of 2025. Because I remember Andre telling us the fees were gonna go up July 1 before he left. And I don't,
Okay, I mean, everything's going up, so it's just at the last minute, but it's just old bills that,
well, us trying to get ahead of these budget amendments, because normally come September or October, we do a huge budget amendment to clean up all these last bills. So now we're trying to get ahead of them.
I appreciate that. Can you speak to, or Steve Alston, to the 22,500 of software for the police?
I put it in the email today. We actually received a grant. That was the IE Pro.
Oh,
It's a grant. So you'll see, there's $31,500 that we have marked for grants.
mhm.
And so it's because of those first 3 line items. And so in the whereas statements, it talks about some tuition reimbursement, an e-bike, and the police accountability, transparency, and that's where the IE Pro software comes into
Oh,
play.
okay, so the first 3 are grant with the money that I got it. Thank you. Can we work on this format for future budget
Yes.
amendments?
Yes.
Thank
Mhm.
you.
Okay. Anyone have anything else to add?
Just
Or-
a brief question to follow up on one of Councilmember Malave's questions.
Uh-huh.
So now that we know that the tipping fees have increased, have we adjusted the fiscal year 27 budget appropriately? So
So
that we don't
we-
have to do this again next year.
So since I now have 3 months, I have taken the FY 27 budget that the council received,
Uh-huh.
added a second column for updates and changes, and have now kicked it back to all the staff to look at, to say what else, now that we're further into, it's not January and February of 2026, we're now actually towards the end of the year. What do we need to change in FY 27 before the council adopts a new budget? So
Thank
we're
you.
looking at
That's great.
everything.
Perfect. That's great.
except
That's
salaries.
glad to hear it. Thank you.
All right. Did I miss anyone in that amendment? Cynthia, you have anything to add to that? No, Lincoln?
Mr. Davis, I have a quick question. The
Okay.
4,500 for the vehicle and cars, it's really not a car, it's an e-bike, correct?
Yes,
Okay, and what is that used for?
the police department will be using the e-bike.
Yeah, we're getting out into the community.
Awesome, is that something that's brand new this
That's
year?
brand new. The e-bike is brand new. We've traditionally had regular bicycles. But I think this would really allow us to get out into the community. Really relate more and also allow the officers to get out and actually exercise a little. And not all the time using the power from the e-bike.
Awesome, thank you, Chief, for that explanation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, no further questions.
Okay, that's on consent.
Oh,
Wednesday night. Moving right along. Proposed projects, there's a whole list of them. There were 2 that, for RFP, there were 2 that I know we spoke about recently. One was Brianna's suggestion of 250,000. My issue was gonna put that out for RFP to see if there were a nonprofit or some type of organization that would administer that for us. And the second one had to do with signs, the entryway to the city. So those are 2, but let's see if they're on the list. The list is in here in the packet.
Well, those 2 aren't on this list, because
Oh, I mentioned them.
those have already been addressed.
Okay,
These are other items that I have now met with the Public Works Director, and some other staff members about things we feel as though we need here in the city to kind of move things forward. And so
it's
the
page
last
10
thing,
and 11, 10 and 11 the packet, excuse me.
so the last thing I want to do is actually do an RFP. We spend a lot of time doing it, and then the council doesn't support it. So I wanted to come up with a list of projects and things that we feel like we need to push forward, and wanting to make sure the council supports these before we spend time working on RFPs and all of that. So,
And keep in mind, as you read through this list, and I'll go around, keep in mind that we have the continuing resolution, so none of this will be budgeted until we adopt the budget. But, have you read this, Brianna? Do you want to go through the list with your priorities?
Yeah, no, I think that this is a great list. I really like seeing it in this format. So thank you for Maisha, whoever prepared it. For the citywide maintenance tree stump, is that to purchase a stump grinder, or is that to dedicate more of our grounds guys to doing that work? Like what specifically would that look like?
So this is my thought process right now. I want to actually see about what would it cost for us to bring in a contractor to
Mhm.
handle this 300 plus stumps. How much time it would take, how much money they would charge. And then at that point, we can say, all right, this is what we found on the RFP. Here's a dedicated vendor. They're saying it's going to take them 4 or 5 months.
Mhm.
This is how much it's going to cost. Now, if our guys did it, what equipment would we need and how many hours would it take outside of their normal jobs? Because these are additional projects that need to go on. And then that way we can weigh it for equipment we need, overtime, how long would it take our guys against a contractor coming in just to work it? And then we could just figure out what's the best use of our manpower. Maybe it's a split. Our guys can do half, the contractor can do half. But this way we would actually have some type of pricing and timeline on what it would look like.
That sounds like really strong management. I really, really like hearing you frame it that way. With replace trash truck with a recycle truck, does that mean purchasing a new truck or refurbishing a current truck? What was the thinking behind that one?
So Leroy called me and said, we need a new truck, but what we would do is take one of our current trash trucks and sell it and then purchase a dedicated recycle truck.
Is there, what's the difference, if you know, like in what they do? Like, it sounds so inarticulate, but you know, like, what is it, what makes a recycle truck different than a trash truck?
Leroy, he's on the line because I asked him to join the call in
Okay,
case there
we're
was
doing that.
questions.
Where's
Perfect.
Leroy?
He's on there.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Leroy.
Good evening.
The current going rate at the trash truck that we have, truck 99, the guys came in from Leach, said they do not operate on that truck anymore. So I asked them if we can trade it in towards a new truck, which would be a 32-yard recycling truck, because we got a lot of complaints coming in saying that the trash people is putting trash and recycling and trash, and they wondering why it's the same truck. So going forward, that trash truck will spin out for a recycling truck. They will paint it blue with yellow recycling on it.
Will it have any other features other than just be looking different?
It will have 2 tippers on the back for recycling. It's a 32-yard. Our trash truck is a 25, so the 32 will possibly complete a whole 2 route Thursday and Friday recycling without dumping.
And then the current truck doesn't have the tippers on it, right?
No.
Right. So this would, they'd be able to pull the cans up to the truck.
Yeah, and have it pick up the
Yes.
can, yeah.
Yes.
I thought that the whole point of us getting the new toters was that all of the trucks were gonna have the tippers.
Yes, I did, and I reached out to Leach to put the tippers on truck 99, and they informed me that they no longer work on that truck. So that's why
Okay.
I put the tippers on it.
All right, and is this this might be a Maisha question, but it also might be a you question. Was this already contemplated in the budget that we've examined?
No,
No,
it's not.
not moving forward. We was just waiting on them to give us a correct number on how much would the trade-in be on truck 99 to
Mhm.
move forward, opposed to the actual cost of a regular recycling truck.
So
Okay.
all of these projects, none of them were incorporated into the FY27 budget. But I figured we now have 3 months. So that's why I asked the team to kind of, let's rethink.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I definitely still think I would need to learn more, but about where our truck is, because if it's just, from what I hear right now, that's me not understanding what you guys are talking about, not you presenting anything poorly. It's my lack of knowledge. It doesn't seem like this is as necessary as some of these other projects that I know people have been concerned about for years, like the tree stumps or the doors and those things like that. But those are the only questions I had. I think this document looks great. I think I just need a little bit more information on purchasing a new truck and, you know, what's going to cost. But those are all the questions I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
So real quick, so one thing I do want to make sure council understands, these are just projects for us to consider to say, is council back, we'd go out to RFP, RFQ, competitive bid, match state bid, whatever the process is for depending on the items. Anything over 30,000 would have to come back to council anyway for final approval. So these were just items, would you all actually support us moving forward and doing the necessary research?
Okay, in that case, I just want to make it clear, I definitely support doing the necessary research for all of these projects, as they all seem like good projects. That's my
We would work, doesn't it? Do them all, nation. All right, thank you, Brianna. Cynthia?
Have we have any idea what the Bluetooth enabled scoreboard for Beckerfield would cost? Any ballpark figure?
So we had one, and then when the person actually came out we found out there was zero power out there. So that changed the whole scope of what we were doing. But we've had a couple people that want to rent the field and actually have like a basketball tournament or a football tournament. So these are things that we would then charge for people to use, but I would then need a scoreboard to be able to do things. So that's where we kind of decided let's
Any
do this.
any more recreational grants or anything?
Well, we could look out there to see if there's other money, but I was trying, is this something council even was entertaining about? Did we want a new scoreboard? Because if you look at the scoreboard out there, especially now when you have the new basketball court and the upgrades we're trying to do to make everything look nice. And if we want to be able to rent the field to different organizations. But with anything, yes, we would also look out there for if there's additional money out there.
Is it Lincoln?
Actually, that was mine, but since she moved on that one, I'll talk about the Salt Bay repairs. And
Okay.
Leroy, I know you're still on the line. What's currently wrong with the Salt Bay? Is it leaking? Are there holes in the roof?
Leroy, you're on mute.
Yes, it's currently holes in the roof. The gutters is hanging down. We had a estimate come out early in the year to do part of the building, but not the salt though. They came back out and gave us an estimate on that as well. So we're trying to get it moving. Half of the salt is hard because when it rained, the water come through. So we was kind of maneuvering it around to keep it fresh.
That's all I needed here. I'm supporting it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm done.
Yeah, we don't want the salt getting hard. Acknowledge that you comment on this already?
I think this is fantastic. It's what I asked for when you threw us the emergency budget for the 3 trucks. And I said, why didn't this was put in the budget and people discussed it. So this is fantastic. My only question is, we will have some sort of numbers for each of these projects to be inputted into the 27 budget. And if later budget amendments are needed to cover any difference, at least the big number, it's in the budget. Is that the plan?
Mhm.
Fantastic, I'll support it.
And so since you brought up my other piece, I have also asked Leroy, and I will be asking, I hadn't had a chance to meet with you, to find out, let's look at all of our vehicles. These were the projects. I now need to understand what's going on with all the cars. So since we now have time, I'm going to enjoy this 3 months. I'm going to make use of it. I am asking the department heads, administration, all our cars are fine. I don't have to do any research on ours. But I am asking the chief and Leroy to look at all the vehicles and let's put not just what we need in FY27, but what is the replacement time on all of our vehicles. And so that will be coming forward to you all also.
Fantastic.
I think the team has covered everything, and the questions I have, of course, I like every project on here. I have a little reservation about the potholes. But Maisha,
Do you want Leroy to talk to you about the potholes?
no, I'm okay.
Okay.
But, I just, oh, it just came to mind when you were talking about the vehicles. And I look at the vacancy reports sometimes. Do we still have that position for a fleet manager?
Yes.
And that's been vacant since it's been created.
And oh my goodness, me and Leroy talked about that this morning. And
Okay.
so my goodness, that is a position that we needed like months ago,
Years ago.
but we want to hold because, I mean, even when we talk about a clerk position, we want to hold until we have the BRC, because what if we say, all right, we're going to pay this person $30 an hour and BRC comes back and says, no, this position should be $20, or maybe this position should be $50. So it changes who we should have actually looked at for a candidate. So that's why we are just sitting still on all of these positions, even the ones that were like, oh my God, we needed it.
Well, that's a reasonable answer, but that position has been empty for about 5 years. So we really do need a fleet manager. When we start having these conversations about looking at all our vehicles, and when I was in the mayor's seat here, we did interview a couple of people. And there are people with a real skill set about knowing how to manage these vehicles. The fleet manager is an expertise, and we have never had it. So we've had piecemeal here and there. The police manage their own cars and they don't know cars, and Public Works manages some cars, and we just had a hodgepodge. So, yeah, I understand.
My
the
biggest
BRC
thing with the fleet manager is understanding what we need to do with the cars, understanding our overall inventory of what we have. And then being able to take that inventory and making sure we're matching up with car 1 and 2, and understanding, being able to give us reports on how much are we then spending labor-wise and parts-wise on fixing these cars. And then one of the other things that Leroy talked to me about, even as because we have a vacant mechanic position, but actually making that mechanic position a heavy equipment mechanic. So then that way we could get rid of Fleet Pro. And then one of the pieces that we need on this budget amendment is fixing another backhoe. Whereas we actually have a heavy equipment mechanic, this is the person that could actually work on those pieces of equipment and maintaining them. Because one of the issues that we have with the backhoe was a lot of the stuff that needed to be fixed was just overall maintenance. Whereas if we had that heavy equipment operator, they would have caught something. Is that correct, Leroy? Did you train me right?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
All right, then I think that what Agnelli mentioned is what we need to see. Some kind of estimated number that can be adjusted for all of these. And then we look at how we want to use the resources that have been designated in the past, whatever we have for various things, or the next year budget, any money you can squeeze into these projects. So this has been a good discussion. Let me see. That is proposed projects. And of course, I added 2. You're going to get an RFP on the 250,000 and an RFP on the signs.
Oh, because we had already, you all voted on, that was last month. So the RFP for the signs is already on the street.
Okay.
We're working. Quentin gave me a draft of the RFP on Friday for me to look at for that 250,000. So I got to look at.
So that's in process. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's go to the report of the mayor and department heads. And Richard, you got here just in time for the report of the mayor and department heads. Welcome. Not a mayor.
Let's start with Maisha. You have nothing to say.
I
Talking
put all
already?
mine, yeah, I put all mine on the table.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Great to be back here with you. I want to give an update, first of all, on our stop sign enforcement camera system. I want to thank the council for redoing the resolution. That new resolution has been put forward to Prince George's County clerk. So we are looking forward to hearing some feedback soon as to when it will come before the Prince George's County Council. I want to welcome our newest police officer who just graduated Police Academy last Thursday, Mia Montanez. She graduated the academy as the academy class commander. She was the one awarded the recognition for having the highest GPA in the class. She also made history in that police academy. There was an award called a Director's Award. It's normally given to instructors in the police academy. She is the first one to ever, as a recruit officer, ever receive the Director's Award. We're really proud to have her on board. Look for some great things coming from her.
What's the name?
Mia Montanez. Montanez,
Montenegro.
yes. And we talked about earlier, e-bikes, we were able to use money from one of our current police recruitment and retention grants to get the e-bikes. I think that's gonna allow us more visibility in the community. It's also gonna come with a bike rack, which will affix to the vehicle, which will allow us to move that bike easily. You know, instead of trying to leave here with the bike and drive, we can also get back in the patrol car as needed. We were just notified today. I wrote my first grant here since I've been here. The police recruitment and retention grant for FY 27. That's been awarded to us. We'll get their final award letter. It's going to be for $11,446. With that grant, we'll be able to asset our need for biannual mental health assessments. We'll also be able to use that to allow the officers to purchase boots for their uniforms in the amount of $150 per officer. So we're also still looking for other grants that might help us with some of the ongoing projects we're looking at. In the past, a few residents have approached me on some of our patrol strategies. I'll never give you exactly what we do because the bad guys are listening as well. But I will tell you that we're looking to break the city into 3, what I call patrol service areas. I've utilized similar patrol service areas in the past where officers would be committed to their patrol service areas, getting to know the residents in their areas as well, and the businesses that are in their area. We're still using our business check-in logs, which allows us to know that officers are not just checking the businesses, they're physically getting out of their cars and going into the business and signing into those logs. So I think that's a great benefit. I want to say I'm proud to say I testified for 2 bills this session: House Bill 634, Senate Bill 745. The LEAD Act of 2026. The governor signed both of those, signed it into law a few weeks ago. Those bills are to mandate additional training for police officers across the state of Maryland when dealing with those who may have autism, those who may elope, those who may be wander off due to dementia. And that's something we truly needed to be standardized across the state. I'm the only police chief in the state of Maryland that stood up and presented both in the Senate and the House for that bill. So I'm proud to say that. And I'm going to give a statement that we have in our packet. As you know, as we're getting into the summer months, there are a lot of outdoor activities, gatherings, and visitors in our neighborhoods. And there's a greater demand for one-street parking. I wanted to remind everyone the importance of being neighborly, being patient, and consider utilizing parking in public streets across our community. Public parking is shared space for the use of all residents and their guests. No individual has the authority to reserve or block or otherwise restrict the access to these areas. Being a good neighbor means showing courtesy, and even in situations where parking may be limited or inconvenient. Consider the needs of all of those around you. Avoid blocking driveways, fire hydrants, sidewalks, and crosswalks. And be mindful of where you park. These small everyday decisions contribute significantly to overall safety and accessibility and harmony in our community. During this time of year, we also see a high incidence of vehicle break-ins, theft from autos, unsecured homes and garages, package theft. We strongly urge residents to use proactive steps to reduce your risk. Also always secure your vehicles, remove valuables that are in plain view. Ensure doors and windows are locked. when leaving your home, even for short periods of time. If you're traveling, consider placing lights on timers, pausing mail delivery, and asking a trusted neighbor to keep an eye on your property. Residents are also encouraged to request a house check through our website, submitting a form on the house check request form to provide an added layer of security while you're away. Our city parks and commercial areas are safest when we work together. And the Carrollton Police Department will continue to maintain visible presence throughout the city, focusing on deterrent, rapid response, and community partnership to reduce crime and enhance quality of life. And we've received quite a few calls for those residents who can complain of loud music. And many times our officers have gone out and we couldn't hear that loud music. And we returned and still couldn't hear that loud music. What we're doing is asking for our residents to really be mindful of one another. And I know we in a society now where we as police are intermediaries between neighbors actually talking with one another. So please be mindful that we are following up. Some of those incidents are being passed on to code enforcement as well to look into. So please be mindful that we are paying attention to your needs. And I'm available for any questions you may have of me.
Got my issue. We got you. Does Leroy have anything to add? His report. Leroy on there?
Yeah, he's still on there.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, I have our
One of
numbers.
the things- Go ahead, Leroy.
I said we have our numbers in for this month. We don't have our trash tipping fee because the county haven't sent it over, but we have our recycling. And I was asked to do a report on our compost participation. You know, right now we had 96 people signed up, but only 25 is using it. Our senior van done 63 routes this month, along with Boys and Girls Club. Our bulk pickup is down a little bit. Our recycling tongue is up. Potholes, we haven't had a chance to get to any of them because we've been working this grant that we're doing, invasive species. The deadline is the 30th. Then we'll get back into our day-to-day operations, which will be our sub pumps, our potholes, tree trimming, and tree removals.
Is that it?
Is that?
He's done? Okay. Anything else, Madam Mayor?
Sure. So this Thursday, June the 11th, we'll be doing a Caribbean flag raising at 1:30 to accommodate Caribbean Heritage Month. In the morning, we'll be attending the principal selection for the new principal for Charles Carroll Middle School at the Sasa building. That's from 8 in the morning to 12 p.m. On the 18th, June 18 at 9 a.m., we will have the raising of the Juneteenth flag at 9 a.m. And following that, between 5 to 7, we'll have the food drive. If the truck brings the food early, we will start serving the seniors before 5 p.m. or anyone that comes earlier than 5, we'll give it out since the holiday is on June the 19th. Want to wish everyone a happy Juneteenth day when it comes on June the 19th. I just wanted to piggyback on what she said about allowing our neighbors to have peaceable enjoyment of their property. And like for some of the instances, we see some people being very insensitive. They're parking their car on the street in the middle of that length that can maybe hold 2 or 3 cars. They park in the middle so nobody can park in front of them or behind them, while at the same time their driveway is completely empty. So we're complaining about parking, but we're also adding to, and I've gotten numerous amount of complaint. Myself and some of the officers have gone out, tried to talk to some of the neighbors. Some have complied, some are still doing the same thing. So it is what it is. And that they should not be using the employees to inflict harm on their neighbors. I know we have a lot of retirees and laid off people in the city, but some people seem to take great pleasure in sitting by the window and causing undue harm to their neighbors. And I just wanted to also let people know that if you call 100 times for the police department, that is not considered a noisy property if when the officers go out, they do not collaborate with the complaints that are being made. So just wanted to put that out. I do know that there's a lot of calls coming in about potholes and damage to their vehicle. So this is going to be the second time a budget amendment is coming across for the hot box in order to service all our residents properly. The first time it was turned down because it was a want versus a need. Now we're coming back to it as a need again, and the potholes need to be fixed. We have one car that is already, or two requests that have gone over to Legit for pothole damage to visitors in the city. Also, we want to let everyone know that the city is open for concerns, comments, recommendations, and we have actually been getting some good concerns, praises for our police department, public works, and requests from the administration. We strive on the fact that when we get emails in from our residents, that we want to jump on the response to the residents right away. And the residents have been happy to see that we're jumping out on that. Also, parking. I want to commend the police department for going out to Melissa Avenue to check on the camper that was parked there. I drove through there the night before the police and I just said, hello, is anyone there? Somebody answered and said I will be right out. But the person turned their music up, so I was a little bit wondering if that was very okay. It was 11 o'clock at night. So I left. The police went after and they were able to make contact, have a conversation. They said they would move. They moved, but then they came back. They got a ticket, they never came back. So just want to know that they're trying to work with the residents to make sure it's not all about the money, it's changing the quality of life and trying to minimize the amount of complaints that we have. So if you see something, say something, and something will be done about it. And that's all I have. Oh,
Okay.
the funeral on Saturday, the hotel owner was buried on Saturday. We were able to, a couple employees were able to attend the funeral at City of Praise, and then they had a repast at the hotel. So we were represented.
Okay, I'll open it up to the council. Are you ready to start, Agnelli? Any questions for the administration?
Three quick ones. Chief, can you talk about the pedestrian struck mine? There's two that were reported from April, including any of the, high risk areas that were identified. I'm looking at page 13 out of 160.
I know the details of that. I'm gonna have to get back with you on that for sure.
Okay.
And just off the top of my head, I don't have that.
It might be if we identify the area to share it with the safety
I certainly will.
people and see they can update their numbers and they overlap with the areas that they identify or any hotspots. Okay. I want to commend the HR director for negotiating contracts that could save us 10% in the life and accidental insurance and short-term disability, anything to lower that percentage of cost for benefits. And Maisha, page 56, the first page of the report of budget. I don't know if I'm reading it right, but on the revenues total, are we really expecting a shortfall of $7.5 million?
I hope not. I know that's where we are right now. We're doing a bunch of posting right now, as we, speak.
By the different categories, there's really big numbers. Revenue in state share taxes, 900,000.
Well, some of those we won't get, and that's one, you get them quarterly. And so I know the state share would always come in July or August, but it will go back to this year. So we do still have a lot of final payments that revenues go through August.
Okay, so that number doesn't concern you?
Oh, it does, because I spent the Shahid this morning.
Like fines and forfeitures over $1 million in other revenue. I mean, you add them up, it's 7.5 million of revenue. That seems a shortfall. So hopefully you go down, but it's not a good trend.
Nope.
Okay, that's all I know.
All right, Brianna?
I don't have any questions at this time, and if I do, I'll email them directly to the directors. Thanks.
Okay, Lincoln?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chief, I do have a couple for you. What is added information on the actual?
You may have taken an initial report and then have to come back out for added information for that report.
And I know several residents are listening and hopefully will adhere to what you're going to say after I ask this question. I noticed that the display of expired license, registration tags had 34 citations in May. Is there something that you would recommend for the residents to do to kind of get ahead of this, other than obviously paying attention to getting your registration done in a timely manner? But can you just expound on what's the best way to handle that?
Sure, and I really think that advice you just rendered is the best, because we all get so busy, including me, and having varied vehicles. If you can put a tickler in your phone ahead of time to remind yourself that, as we do when we set up meetings, that your tags are about to expire. Some of them, we can extend out, depend on the cost now. It's really gone up 2 to 3 years before your tags may expire. So you really have to pay attention and try to set some tickler to remind yourself. And I know I can tell you personally, I had one about to expire, and I quickly went online to renew that registration, online renewal, and you can print out the temporary registration, but you have to post it in the rear window just in case your tags expire before your stickers come. Okay.
And the temporary will keep you from getting a ticket.
Yeah.
Until the actual real tags.
Yes, it will.
Sorry.
No, because I did that. It's been 3 weeks and I still haven't got my sticker.
Wow. And has that one expired now?
Yes.
Oh, no.
So I parked that car and grabbed the other one. Other people got that luxury of doing that. So I
Mine
didn't know
haven't
what
come
I
in
had.
either.
Yeah, so somebody told me just going down there, but then I go down there and they say it's been mailed to you. And so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know whether I had 2 weeks extra or what, because motor vehicles obviously is behind.
Right. And one thing, if you were to be pulled over by an officer, well, as you know, the citations before displaying, I know in our police officers, we have the ability to run the plates and know that you just didn't affix that sticker. It is good in the system, but you just somehow didn't affix the sticker.
You still get a ticket though.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, we have discretion with that, and a lot of the stuff that you'll see, and I know it's been asked what my stance is as police chief, in response to what you may have received in the past administration, is that I believe in the conversation. That's so important. It's so important to know what's really going on before we look to be punitive and to be, we want you to be able to have a trust in us, that we may point something out to you. You may not realize those tags have expired. You may not realize that your creating a violation by the way you park your vehicle. But if we can start by having a conversation with you, I mean, you know, that's gonna, you know, continue to build trust in our community. Because this is a wonderful community. I'm so humbled to be here, and I appreciate when those of you in the community who come up to me, and many of you, when you see me out, you don't know I'm the chief. You'll say officer, and I will, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. And then later on, you may find out that, oh, you're the chief. So, but it lets you know that, you know, we want that collaborative relationship.
Thank you. That's a very healthy answer. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Can you clarify? The expired tags is a violation if they're in the street, but not in my driveway, or they're also a violation if it's in my driveway?
Well, it's a violation of state law, period, to have expired tags. Because I think we've had things happen here where people were covering their cars. Then if you know, we had some historical that I've read that's not allowed. If you're trying to hide, you know, the fact that the tags have expired. I've even seen when someone may back their car in the driveway so we won't see it, noticeably see it, that it expired.
Thank you for the clarification.
The only other question I have, and I'm not sure, Millie's not here. I'm not sure if you can answer this, Chief. I noticed there were 44 beagles at Beagle Fest. And I know that if a pet runs away, the best way to protect yourself and get the pet back is to have that particular pet microchipped. What is the fee for that? Do you know?
No, Nellie she can answer that for you, because I know I have 5 dogs, so I believe all 5 are microchipped, and I had to ask my wife what we paid, but I can find out.
No problem. Get back to me later. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the
Yeah,
questions.
Cynthia?
Lincoln, I just wanted to add, the last event that Nelly had at the field, they were doing free microchipping.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She got a grant and they were providing the microchip, and the company that came was. But now they can get the chip from Nelly, but then they have to pay to put the chip in. So if
Thank you,
anybody wants a free microchip, they can go to the police department to get one or request it from her.
Can be up to $75.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Thank you, Ms.
Can I get the
Bolton.
chip?
Yeah, just look
Pick
it up.
the
Cynthia
chip.
has no
If you bring your
questions.
own chip.
No, if you go to in the state of Maryland, they can charge anywhere up to $75.
It's much cheaper if you bring the chip, which they're providing.
Okay.
I know, I didn't want to get out of here. I have a couple questions for the chief. And when I adopted my cat, it was there was a cat sale at the shelter. Took the cat in, and it was $70, but that was the chip, a bag of food, spaying, and all the shots.
Wow, you got a deal.
That cat is now 2015 model. She's 11 years. That's 11 years ago, but she's a good cat. I don't know what they do at the shelter now, but they do have a lot of cats that do adopt out. Chief, about 10 months ago, I don't think you were here, but the mayor and the council were unanimous in agreeing that we should not use diesel engines in front of schools to do traffic citations. So there's one in front of Lamont, there was one on Auburn, and that one was in Auburn, was right next to the lady's kitchen door. And they complained about it endlessly. They smell these fumes in the house, and we agreed and we stopped using them. So Major Butler had the one removed from Auburn Avenue. There's still one sitting in front of Lamont. It does not belong to the city. Major Butler said the contractor owns it. So it's really an abandoned vehicle. It's been there for 10 months, unused. Can we tow it? I mean, it's an eyesore. It's ugly in front of the school. Yeah, so if you contact the vendor, maybe they want it, but for 10 months, they let it sit there. And
It was on our streets.
it's on our street, on Good Luck Road in front of, and also, just so you're aware, the council did not say that we're opposed to the traffic devices. But Pepco said they would drop electric lines down for us. You could run them on electric, or you could use solar panel. So if you want right turn around cameras in Auburn, which was a good site for one, for safety and for revenue, you use solar, or you drop a line from the telephone pole. And Pepco said they do that for us, just give us an electric bill instead of paying for diesel. So it's not that we're opposed to the devices. We were opposed to the diesel, and this one they just left there. I don't make a long time out of that, but maybe you can get that thing removed, because the Lamont people would beautify the school, the parents, they have to trim the grass underneath that trailer, and it's killed the grass there. It's just a nice one.
But in the meantime, until it's replaced, I've seen when I walk from my house, people are slowing down. They think it's still operational. So it is subduing. I haven't seen a crash since it's been there, at Good Luck Road and Lamont. So people are actually breaking.
Well,
You gotta
I would,
take
I
it
would,
from person.
that's so noted. I don't agree with that, but I don't think that's deterring anything, but maybe it does. We can't prove that. But Chief, I got some questions on the stats here. The, where you have front of driveway without consent. My street now, Auburn Avenue, has a lot of problems with parking. There's a guy across the street from me in Riverdale runs a business that doesn't comply with the zoning. He runs a car detailing shop and he runs cars out, so nobody can park on the other side. They park in front of my house, they park in front of my driveway. But I have friends who are parked there. I've never been ticketed. Are you knocking on doors before you issue these tickets, or are you just seeing a car in front of a driveway?
I'd like to have my officers and my parking person. I only have one parking enforcement officer now, as you know. I like to have them knock on doors, to attempt to identify. You know, in the county, my previous city, you could park in front of your own driveway. But Prince George's County, you could not park in front of it. But recently, I think in March of maybe 24 or 2024, the county changed it. You can now park in front of your own driveway. And so that varied. Right before a presentation I had given, I checked the law and it had been updated.
Well, I'd like to think that they're knocking on doors. I'd like to think what you said is happening, that we're building community and relationships. And by slamming a ticket on someone who was a guest there without knocking on the door, if they know somebody's in their driveway and they're fine with it, which is the case in front of my house, a lot of times friends will park in front of the driveway. And I've never been ticketed, but I hope they'll knock on the door. I have the same question on this old issue, this parking over 72 hours. We have 8 of those. I think it's only fair to residents that we, I've told you Chief Rice's position was we won't do that unless we get a complaint. Are you getting complaints? Or are you marking tires?
No, we're not marking tires. But I tell you, I have done something previously, is actually taking a picture of the tire stem. And if that, I can tell you in my past, I've been mandated to, by the city manager to ticket a vehicle that had been parked 72 hours. And so I ordered my officers to go ahead and, tag it, give that warning. We came back days later, it was still parked there. So I told the corporal, will you go ahead and tow that vehicle? Take it in and tow it. It was parked in front of an EV station. And I said, wait a minute, send me a picture of the side of that vehicle, the driver's side. Sure enough, the stem had actually moved. What was going on, my city manager, when he came in every day, my previous city manager, the vehicle was there. When he left every day, it was there, but it actually moved. It came in, it left after he left. After he left for the day, it came in before he came in. So it was actually being moved every day. So we really have to make sure if there's not a complaint that we know for sure that it's in violation. And just like when someone calls and said, this vehicle has been parked on my street for 2 weeks, it hadn't moved. The 72 hours starts when we're advised of it. We can't go by what the citizens have seen. I've actually seen neighbors go against one another and call our officers out and use us, try to weaponize us against their neighbors. And clearly the car hadn't been there, I can give you so many stories. So it's good for us to have that communication. It benefits us, it benefits the vehicle owners as well.
You have 8 in March, and you'd estimate that of those 8, there were complaints in all 8?
Yes, I can check and get back with you.
Okay.
Because what you'll see when you bring things to my attention, and I see things that may warrant questioning, let me check and find the exact occurrence of each one of those.
I called in one and
Okay.
they could ticket on it. Then she came back to ticket again. I stopped my car and go straight to pick it to the tag, called it in. It was stolen.
Wow.
And it was strange because they didn't report it stolen until after the police put the inquiry in.
Right.
Come to find out, if I'd waited another week, it'd have been 30 days. They would have got fully paid by the insurance.
Isn't that something? Wow.
Because I thought, how they not reporting? He said, once you led us and we went into the system, it was flagged, and all of a sudden it was reported stolen.
Right.
Because the car was perfect, nothing broken, but for like 3 weeks I saw that car there and I kept watching to see if somebody moved it. And I guess they parked it there. There was no key or nothing.
And see, that's important. We want you to be able to call us. And one thing we talked about, previously was those residents that are aging in place and may not travel with their vehicles often. So we want to, you know, I want to start a campaign where we know what's going on with these cars and make a note that we won't harass them because they may travel once a week with their vehicle and they just happen to be on the street. But I tell you, so much happens through open communication. I'll say that over and over again.
And I'd like to ask if you'd get back to me from your officers also with the 20 feet from the intersection, because that's the one we received a lot of complaints on, that it was never enforced until Chief Rice left. And the question is, from the residents, does it really do anything to help parking? The fact that you're actually creating another parking space. And we do have apparently a code that says you can't be within 20 feet, but we don't paint the curbs, we don't have any signs, and people aren't aware. People who've been here 20, 30 years are all of a sudden getting tickets. And I think it would be fair to warn people. So you might ask your officers if they're doing warnings on those or just slamming the ticket on. They check the tag. If they see the person lives in that house, wouldn't it be fair to knock on the door and say, you know, there's a violation here? And
That
the
would be
last,
fair.
yeah, I think that'd be fair. And the last question I have is, on parked commercial vehicles. I mean, we flash it on our sign, don't park commercial vehicles. They're all over the city because I walk and jog it, and we only have 5 getting ticketed. I know there's a lot more than 5 out there. How are we selecting which ones to ticket? And are your officers coordinating with the code department to know what a commercial vehicle is? How do they know what to ticket? Or is code ticketing these?
I don't think that's code ticketing on the public streets. It should
Okay.
be our parking enforcement person or our
Okay.
police officer. And a lot of times I know they're ticketing from complaints, from actually seeing them themselves. And you're saying there are only 5. I know our police are here 24 hours a day.
Correct.
You know, our parking is not here on weekends or evenings. And we were looking, I think we had a meeting, we were looking at establishing what our code says as far as a commercial vehicle. Did we talk about the lettering that was over 4?
That's in our code,
inches?
lettering over 4 inches.
Yes.
We got lots of that out there, but only 5 tickets, and 5 and then 7 the next month. And that's something that I think the residents would support you and the administration on cracking down on. A lot of people, I get complaints about that why don't you do anything with these commercial vehicles? So that one's, I'm not questioning the number is too high. I think the number is too low.
But one of the problems is they come in late at night. Some of them
Leave
leave,
early in the
they
morning.
leave before they were leaving. Now
Yeah, the one that
they,
you're-
now the person doesn't come to 8, they gone, they gone.
And
She used to catch them in the morning.
Yeah, and see, and that's where it would rely on my police officers to be out there because parking is gone for the evening. And clearly we may look at some random schedules. I've done that in the past where I've allowed parking to, well, we had one dedicated person in my last department that would shift their schedule because we knew certain things were happening in the evening. We knew certain things were happening on weekends as well. Same thing we did with code enforcement.
So would you estimate of all of these tickets written, and this is April and March that I have, how many of them were written by your officers other than the ticketing?
I had to check with them.
I'm curious if your officers are writing any, because that's something they're authorized to do, but it's not something they're tasked to do as a regular basis. So, but I would, because of after hours activities, I'd encourage them to be aware of that, especially in the more egregious situations and where we get complaints in commercial vehicles. So I think that's all I have, and it was all for you, Chief. I'll leave Maisha alone, leave Leroy alone. Got another question over there? Oh, I'm sorry, Agnelli.
I want to share some of the information that I learned in the conversations with the chief and the city manager regarding the schedule of fees and fines. So there are violations related to the code that only say commercial vehicles, but it's part of the language that I'm looking to expand. And I learned that parking a commercial vehicle in your driveway is allowed as long as it meets a lot of language in the code. And so that's part of clarifying the language on the schedule. So there's the general awareness, commercial vehicles can be parked in your driveway. And then there are limitations on not allowing commercial vehicles on the streets except for business hours. And then there's also the need that Maisha has identified of doing a more clear ordinance or code enforcement language to define commercial vehicles. So that's part of the work that is
Okay.
ongoing.
And I will add as the historian at the table here, that if you go back to 2003 and 4, when I was first on the council, there was discussion of this, and the council at that time said, you can park it in your driveway. They said this back then. I don't know whatever happened to this. I don't know if it's still there. You can park it in your driveway, but if the letters are bigger than 4 inches, you must have some type of magnet to cover them up. We do not want to see Smith's Plumbing in 6-inch letters, even in a driveway. Now, I don't know what the code says now. I haven't looked at it.
It doesn't
And I
say
don't,
that.
I don't think we're ticketing that, and the code may have been changed, but there was discussion back then.
A lot, but nothing about 4 inches.
4 inches, well, even Maisha, the chief, just mentioned that. That was in the code. 4 inches was in the code. That may be gone. I don't remember, the council when they changed it.
That was
I owe you guys legislation on this, and I will have it to you guys soon enough to be discussed this summer at one of our meetings.
Okay, well, we're gonna discuss fines and fees, but thank you for adding that, Agnelli. We're all done with the mayor and department heads reports and questions, and the budget versus actual, Agnelli already commented on. Anybody have any other comments on the budget versus actual?
Mr. Chair, I just have one thing.
Uh-huh.
And help me understand this one, Maisha. It's on page 65 of 116. What is the EE gifts, events, and special occasions amount? It looks like it was amended in 26 for 70,000.
Employee,
Is that employee?
is usually an occupation.
That's
Oh, that's the human resources. That includes any,
retirement.
yeah, I was like retirements, any, like we just had, we've had a couple now, big anniversaries. Where we had a couple employees, I think one was like 25 and one was like 35 years. So think of that type of,
19.
yeah, the employee holiday party. I mean, it's any of that kind of, like, we just had our, employee health fair for open enrollment. It's all of that.
Gotcha. And so I'm understanding it correctly, is 40,961 still available?
Yes.
Do you think that will be spent prior to? June 30th?
No, I hope not. No, and that line item is funded by some of that, rebate that we get back from the JIT. So, no, so it will go back, whatever is not used will go back to the legit pot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That covers that. Now it's 8:27. If we're gonna make 8:30, be quiet, and 12 and 13, guys. We got, any questions on the bills? No, if you have questions, bring them up. Any questions on the April and May minutes?
Ms. Agnelli has sent me some changes. I don't know if
Okay.
anyone else has any other changes.
I don't, but if you do have changes, you can submit them to Maisha, and among the many things she does, she will correct the minutes.
I do, there were 2 closed sessions in April that I was not part of. And we don't record closed sessions. So I don't know if anyone has minutes from those.
Oh, minutes, no. There's no recording.
No recording. We don't record closed sessions.
Did Caitlin take notes?
I might have to call Caitlin and ask her.
Okay. All right, that takes us to number 14. And that is anybody in the audience who wants to come up and address us.
I just have a couple of things.
All right, welcome, Cynthia.
Okay. Do you need me to
Oh,
do
yeah,
this?
here you go.
Remember, 8:30 is the target. Is
Right, you got 2 minutes.
Listen, Dwayne, I know the game is coming on. I'm interested in watching.
I don't care about the game. I just want to get dinner.
I do.
I care about the game.
Me too. Oh, next,
That's
Cynthia Pole Suite, Long Branch Drive. Just a couple of points. When you talk about the commercial vehicles and not being on the street, I hope whenever the code is rewritten, it is also taken into consideration construction vehicles. Long Branch Drive has way too many of all of that between the Lynn's Plumbing and, yeah, it's a whole bunch of commercial vehicles and construction trucks taking up parking spaces. So if we could consider that as well. the proposed projects for 27. I know, Maisha, you said that, the police and public works were gonna look at vehicles. Are we also looking at leasing vehicles versus purchasing too? In that whole conversation?
I'm trying to be open to leasing vehicles.
No, I was just wondering.
The
As a
chief would like for
comparison.
us to look at leasing vehicles, so
Okay.
the mayor and I will entertain it.
Okay,
And we
all
will
right.
be open to the conversation to see the pros and cons. And then when we present everything, we will also present that information.
makes sense. Okay. Chief, real quick, the stop sign enforcement, I thought Major Butler's presentation said that had been approved. It's not yet approved?
No, it's not yet. Let me tell you
Oh, okay.
what actually occurred quickly. I know we've got to get out of here.
8:30, chief.
Yes, okay. Well, we needed to have an actual public notice of a meeting.
For
So
the
We
hearing.
did.
But of the hearing, so we went back and did that.
Uh-huh.
So now it has to go back to county council. That
Oh.
was the only thing they needed.
Okay, gotcha, no problem. And then the last thing, on the breaking up the city into the 3 patrol areas, will there be a publication of what area and what officers are patrolling?
Well, no, it won't.
Okay,
And one thing, the officers, you'll get to know those officers that are in your area.
okay,
That's the cool thing.
okay, all right, perfect, thank you.
And while you're sitting down before we close, I was over in Berwyn Heights this week and my friend said, be careful with the stop signs. He said, because they have the cameras on, he said, but we only have 2. In all that city, they only have 2. And if you know where they are, you can run stop signs. I don't know how many we're gonna have, chief. We gotta get approved first. Berwyn's a much smaller area, but they do have this traffic flowing through there. You're familiar with
I
that?
have seen.
All right, is there anything else? Or are we ready to have a motion to adjourn, Cynthia?
I'll move that we adjourn this meeting at
Look, we are-
8:31 PM.
All right.
Second.
All
So
right, all-
Councilmember Brianna motion, Mills
Bills,
second.
and all in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
There are none, so we are 5-0. And before we leave, we're already finished. Everything's consent agenda Wednesday. There's a short meeting, okay? No, it never.